Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am Rasoul Mousavi from Iran. I am researcher and also columnist in some newspaper like Jam in my country. Some of my research paper, it is possible you can find in internet, like one of my article, which is also translated in Russia in 15 years ago in the title of Islamic Movement in Central Asia. I have also diplomatic background. I was ambassador of Iran to Tajikistan at the early independence of Tajikistan, when it started the civil war in Tajikistan. And I was involved in the peace implementation, peace process in Tajikistan. And I think that Iran and Russia have a very good experience in the implementation of peace process in Tajikistan at that time. Two ambassadors in that time was very active in the peace process of Tajikistan. One was me and the other was Mr. Yevgeny Belov, ambassador of Russia. And I think that without cooperation between Iran and Russia, it was impossible to establish peace in Tajikistan. Why I am saying this? Because at that time, exactly we have this problem in Middle East, we have in Central Asia at that time. How we tackled at that time, it was very important. And I think that if we try to review what happened at that time, it will be very important for this time also how to tackle the problem in Middle East. And the second issue, I want to raise this point that 3 years ago, I had an interview, and you can find in YouTube. And there was a question from me, how do you think that what's happening in Syria? It was the starting point of Arab Spring. I said that the Syrian issue is not the Arab Spring, it is the winter. And I said that the reason is that the Syria case is different from the others. And unfortunately, Syria is going to the hand of the terrorist group, not in the liberal groups. And you can find this document in YouTube. And at that time, I emphasized this point also, that if Russia cannot come to this file early, I do believe that Russia should come very strongly. Why I am emphasizing this point? Because I said this point 3 years ago. So I want also at this time to say for the next scenario. Everybody here talk many things about Daesh, and everybody in this distinguished people here agree with me that Daesh is not an Islamic group. Daesh using from Islam for their own benefit. But I think that what is the next scenario if Daesh defeated in Syria? I think that it is necessary we should think about the next scenario. Without thinking, we will have another problem in the future. I think that after the Russian military operation in Syria and after 20 November incident in Paris, there is no future for ISIS in Middle East. And there is a kind of consensus of the international community about to try to defeat Daesh in Middle East. But there is a question. What's the meaning of defeat for Daesh? Military defeat. Is it possible to kill the fighters of between 40 and 50,000 militants in Middle East? Is it possible, this massacre? And if there is possible to kill near 50,000 militants, how many innocent civilian people will kill? So I think that it is necessary to try to think what is the meaning of defeat? What is the meaning of elimination of Daesh in Middle East? So, international community reached to this point that Daesh should be defeated. But simultaneously, it means that it is impossible to kill all of the militants. So, what's the solution? Unfortunately, I think that there is a solution in the name of shifting of terrorism in geography. If we look at the history, our near history, what happened in Chechnya? When Chechnya defeated by the security forces of Russia, they transferred to the Afghanistan. After September 11, they transferred to Waziristan. And after some time, they transferred to Syria. And now if they defeated, I think that they will transfer to another place. Where is these places? This is the question. They need to find an area with a fragmented state, with a failed state places. It can be northern part of Africa, or it can be the Afghanistan. I think that unfortunately it is possible northern part of Afghanistan will be the next place of extremist group for their a kind of rest for the future if they military defeated in Syria. Why northern part of Afghanistan? I think that in the southern part of Afghanistan, for many reasons, it is impossible for them. Because first, Taliban are against Daesh. I don't want to go to the detail. Taliban is different from Daesh and ISIS. Taliban, they are trying to construct a nation state in the name of Afghanistan, but in the atmosphere of Islamic thought. But Daesh are looking for a global caliphate. So for many reasons, there is a difference between Taliban and Daesh. And now we see many clashes between Taliban and Daesh in the region. The other reason that this group needs to be close to their supporter. So I think that the northern part of the Afghanistan is a good place for their supporter in region and beyond region. And the other point that it is possible after defeating of Daesh in Syria, economically they need a kind of sources, and narco business is a good thing to selling the oil. And now there are many clashes in Afghanistan between Taliban and Daesh to control the root of the narco business. Narco business can be replaced for the oil business. And the other point that this region, the northern part of Afghanistan, can be a good place for threaten Iran, Russia, Central Asian countries simultaneously. And the other point that the northern part of Afghanistan can be a good place for rest this group. And unfortunately, and this is the main point that even in your speech this morning, one of the main points is happening that there is a kind of anti-religious activities that is the root of ISIS or Daesh activities. Let me explain this. In Central Asian governments, they have a policy against Islam, against religious, not only against extremism. The policy against Islam, the policy against religious should be differ from policy against extremism. For example, what happened in Tajikistan? After the peace process in Tajikistan, there were a moderate group in the name of Islam, Islamic Revival Party, was active in parliament, and it was a member of parliament in Tajikistan. Unfortunately, in these days, by using this time, Islamic Revival Party banned in the name of activities against terrorism. These are false and these are very wrong policy. Let me conclude that I am thinking that it is possible there will be a defeat for Daesh, for ISIS, for Jabhat al-Nusra in Syria. So, according our experience, it is possible they should try to shift in another geographical places. It is possible they shifted to northern part of Afghanistan. I said why. And unfortunately, by some activities of Central Asian countries, this place is a very good places for this group. Let me add this point that what happened in Kunduz, it was Islamic movement of Uzbekistan that captured for some days the Kunduz in the name of the Taliban. It is a dangerous situation, so I think that we should be very careful for our future. We try to use our experience in the past and try to find a solution. And I think that the religious extremism is against human being. But simultaneously, I do believe that anti-religious policy is the root of religious extremism. And one suggestion, I want to support the suggestion of Mrs. Anna this morning to have a network by these distinguished gentlemen and gentlewomen. And I think that it is necessary, but we need our name and email that we, unfortunately, until this time, we have no any the name of participant. I wish that chairman for tomorrow try to prepare our names and emails because we need to be in touch with each other. Thank you very much.